Have you ever felt your heart race or your mind flood with doubts before taking a leap? Or hesitated just long enough for an opportunity to slip away? We've all been there, but what if you could finally take back control from fear? Just think of a life where fear doesn't hold you back, where you're free to act, explore, and grow on your terms. Let's look into the transformation that happens when you kill your fear and start living courageously. Fear is a part of all of us. It's a natural response designed to protect us from danger. But sometimes fear takes on a life of its own, influencing our decisions and limiting our potential. Think about it. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are fears we carry from experiences, memories, or even societal expectations. They might be warnings to keep us safe, but often they just keep us stuck. When we were kids, fear might have helped us avoid trouble or danger, but as adults, these fears become invisible barriers that prevent us from stepping outside our comfort zones. Maybe you've wanted to start a business, try a new hobby, or speak up in a meeting, but something stopped you. That something is often fear. And though it feels real, much of what we fear isn't a real threat. It's the imagined outcomes, the what-ifs that hold us back. Fear doesn't just impact our decisions, it affects our overall quality of life. When we let fear dictate our actions, it's like living with an invisible chain around us, one that holds us back from opportunities and experiences that could make us happier, wiser, or more fulfilled. Imagine someone who fears rejection. Because of this fear, they may avoid social situations, miss out on meaningful relationships, or even bypass career opportunities, all to avoid the possibility of discomfort. Fear can also be a source of constant mental and emotional exhaustion. Think about how much energy it takes to constantly question, what if I fail? Or what will people think? Over time, this internal dialogue drains our energy, feeds self-doubt, and keeps us from feeling at peace with ourselves. Living with fear can also stunt personal growth. When we avoid risk, we miss out on the lessons and resilience that come from facing challenges. It's only when we move beyond fear that we start to grow, discover new strengths, and learn more about who we truly are. But as long as we allow fear to take the driver's seat, we'll keep living a smaller version of our potential. So, ask yourself, what has fear kept you from achieving? What dreams or goals have been postponed because fear was in control? When you break free from fear, a whole new world opens up. Imagine the possibilities when fear no longer dictates your actions. Suddenly, you're not hesitating or second-guessing yourself at every turn. Instead, you're driven by what you truly want. Killing fear doesn't just mean freedom from anxiety, it means freedom to act boldly, to go after opportunities, and to live fully. Think of fear as an invisible fence. You've stayed within its boundaries because it feels safe, but once you push past that fence, you see there's a vast landscape of experiences and growth waiting for you. This freedom doesn't just come from avoiding fear, it comes from acknowledging it, facing it, and choosing to act anyway. The sense of liberation that follows is like being out of a cage you never even realized you were in. Each time you step beyond fear, you're reclaiming control of your life. Decisions that used to be clouded by hesitation become clear, empowering you to make choices that are truly aligned with who you are and what you value. Killing your fear is one of the fastest paths to building genuine self-confidence. Every time you confront something you were once afraid of, you're proving to yourself that you can handle it. This experience shifts your self-perception, helping you see yourself as someone who's capable, brave, and resilient. And with each conquered fear, your confidence grows. Overcoming fear isn't about becoming fearless, it's about learning to act despite feeling fear. Imagine how empowering it feels to face down challenges, knowing that fear doesn't have the final say. This inner resilience becomes a part of you, making it easier to handle future obstacles. Instead of avoiding tough situations, you approach them head on, confident that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. Conquering fear also reshapes your comfort zone. The more you push through fears, the more your comfort zone expands, creating a new normal that's much larger and braver than before. What once seemed impossible or intimidating now feels like just another step on your journey. When you stop letting fear control you, life becomes more fulfilling. You're no longer holding yourself back from things that could bring joy or satisfaction. Instead, you're pursuing goals that matter deeply to you without the nagging voice of fear stopping you in your tracks. Living without fear opens doors to passions and dreams that might have seemed out of reach before. Imagine dedicating time and energy to something you love without worrying about failing or being judged. Maybe it's a career change, starting a creative project, or simply speaking up for what you believe in. When you remove fear from the equation, you create room for genuine fulfillment, a life that reflects your values and passions rather than one shaped by avoidance. A life driven by purpose feels radically different from a life driven by fear. When fear is no longer in control, you're free to focus on what truly matters. This purpose gives you a sense of direction, clarity, and motivation that can make every day feel meaningful. So, ask yourself, what would you do differently if fear wasn't holding you back? What goals, big or small, would you pursue with courage? Killing your fear doesn't mean jumping into your biggest anxieties head first. In fact, the most effective way to overcome fear is to face it gradually in small, manageable steps. Imagine fear as a staircase. Each small step forward gets you closer to the top. The key is to take action, even if it's just a little at a time. Start by choosing one fear that's holding you back. Then break it down into smaller steps. For example, if you fear public speaking, try by practicing in front of a mirror. Then try speaking in front of a friend and eventually a small group. Each small step builds your confidence, proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Over time, this gradual exposure makes the fear feel less intense and more manageable. Set a goal to face one small fear each week. With every step, you'll notice the fear losing its grip on you, and you'll be building resilience in the process. One of the reasons fear feels so powerful is because of the way we think about it. Often we amplify our fears with what-if scenarios, imagining the worst possible outcomes. But what if you could change the way you think about fear? Instead of seeing it as a roadblock, try viewing it as a sign of growth, proof that you're pushing your boundaries. Start by practicing positive self-talk. When fear arises, acknowledge it but challenge it. Instead of thinking, "I'm going to fail," replace that with, "This is a chance to learn, no matter the outcome." Remind yourself of past situations where you've overcome challenges, reinforcing that you have the strength to face this too. Another technique is to reframe fear as excitement. Fear and excitement are closely related. Both get your heart racing and your adrenaline pumping. So the next time you feel fear, tell yourself, "I'm excited to take this on." This small shift can make the experience feel less daunting and more like an opportunity. A powerful way to kill your fear is to visualize what life would look like without it. Take a moment to imagine yourself free from a fear that's been holding you back. Picture yourself confidently going after that goal, starting that project, or having that conversation without hesitation. Visualization helps you connect emotionally with the outcome, creating a sense of motivation and excitement about what's possible. Imagine how satisfying it will feel to accomplish something you once thought impossible. Visualization doesn't just motivate you, it conditions your mind to believe that this version of you is real and achievable. To practice, spend a few minutes each day visualizing a life without your main fear. Close your eyes, see yourself acting fearlessly, and focus on the positive emotions that come from it. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your resolve to make it happen. So, ask yourself, what's one small action you can take today to face a fear? remember, each step you take toward courage brings you closer to a life of freedom, confidence, and fulfillment. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.